Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Golden Astrologer Podcast. This is Deb McBride, and I am recording this in beautiful, lovely Escazú, Costa Rica, where it is Sunday, the 16th of November in the year 2025. And just a little over 2 weeks from now, we will be having my 2026 lecture that I am inviting everyone to join me. It is 2026, the Rebellion of Fire and Air. It's all about next year, about Uranus going into Gemini, about Saturn and Neptune and their conjunction in Aries, how they're going to spend time there, how this is a whole new thing for everyone in the world because we've never had this in Aries before and Neptune's never been in Aries. So I'm going to talk all about that. The nodes will be changing signs. They're going to be going into Aquarius for the North Node and the South Node in Leo. So we've got some exciting stuff going on next year, okay? That's air and fire right there. The nodes are air and fire. And so we're leaving the world of water and earth, and we're moving into something much more dynamic. And it's going to be a very interesting ride, okay? And these things are not going to be with us for a couple months. They're going to be with us for years. So join me December 2nd. It's a Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern time, which is 6 p.m. my time at this time of year. And it's on Zoom. And there will be a recording, but I like it when people show up so I have an audience and we can have a lively discussion. And it's only $55. And if you want the link, you can go to my website, thegoldenastrologer.com, and go to Astrologer's Thoughts, and there's a blog post there that has the link. You can also go to my website and click book online, and you can find the link there in events. And you can also email me, deb@debmcbride.com, info@thegoldenastrologer.com, and I will email you the link. And I'll be putting the link in stories on Instagram, The Golden Astrologer, during the week, in the next couple weeks. So please join me, and let's have fun. Let's talk about next year. It's going to be very exciting. And you know, I always say, I don't know how people get along without astrology, especially looking at the year ahead. How could you do that without information? I need information, but I'm an astrologer. I'm biased. But for the rest of the world, don't you need information about next year? And I'm not just talking about like financial, projections. I'm talking about life, okay? What's going to happen in the world? What's going to happen with us? What's going to happen in your chart? So this is something very exciting. So join me. And we are 1 week down in Mercury retrograde. 1 week past, 2 more weeks of Mercury retrograde as it goes direct on the 29th. And we are, it's only a third over, folks. So we've got 2 more weeks, and we are really in an interesting time. I have to tell you my Mercury retrograde story. So, of course, there's lots of Mercury retrograde stories, but this one takes the cake. Monday was the 10th, right? So the day after I did my last podcast, Monday was the 10th. Tuesday, Jupiter was going retrograde. And on Sunday, the 9th, Mercury went retrograde. So we had Mercury retrograde, 1 day in between, and then Jupiter went retrograde. Okay? So Monday the 10th, I ran out to get cash because I had to pay the garden guy that was going to clean up my garden that comes every month or so. So I ran to this little supermarket near my house where I go get cash frequently because it's easy. And so I go there and I'm at the cash machine, and cash machines have changed. I'm usually very focused now at the cash machine because it's tricky. You have to make sure you're not distracted, that no one's talking behind you, talking to you, because you could leave your card in the machine, right? So you don't want to leave your card in the machine. And now here in Costa Rica, at least the one bank where this supermarket has the cash machine, the one bank has a reminder. So now they changed it. You have to take your card out of the machine and then it dispenses your cash. So I get a reminder in English because that's what I choose to speak English when I'm at the bank machine. And it says, please remove your card. Please remove your card. Just as you are tapping in your numbers and your code and the amount of money you want, and you hit, okay, that's it, I'm done. And it tells you, please remove your card. And then you take out your card and then it dispenses your cash, right? So now I guess they had too many people leaving their card in the machine, right? So now it's like this. And I'm standing at the machine on Monday and I look down from the screen to remove my card and I see that there is cash hanging out of the machine. And I said, how can this be? I didn't remove my card yet. It won't dispense the cash until I remove my card. And then I look at the cash more closely and I said, that's not the amount I asked for. That's more than I asked for. Okay, so what's going on? So I take the cash out of the machine, take the card out of the machine, hold them in two different hands, and then my cash comes out of the machine, which I pull out and put in my wallet with my card. So now I'm being very focused, being very careful of what I'm doing, and I have now the equivalent of $110 in my left hand. And I'm standing there with it. I put my wallet away and I'm looking around the store to see who belongs to this money, because clearly someone left their money in the machine because they're used to the card coming out after they get their cash. They weren't paying attention, which is why I say I'm very focused at these machines now. And they left their cash in the machine, took their card because the machine reminded them to, and so used to taking the card out last that they forgot their cash, which to me says you were too much of a hurry person, whoever you are, and you left your cash in the machine. So I'm walking around the store and it's 9:30 in the morning, so hardly anybody's in there. It's not like it's noon when people run over there to get lunch. And I'm looking around and there's like two people in the store maybe, and the employees are there. And no one looks frazzled and hurrying and, oh my God, I left my money in the machine. No one. And I'm looking outside and I'm looking around and I'm holding the cash in my hand. Then I put the cash in my pocket and I'm not suspicious or anything. I'm looking around. And so I don't know what to do. I said, okay, this is clearly someone else's cash and someone has completely forgotten their money. And so I've got to do something, but what do I do if I give it to an employee? They're going to keep it. They're not going to, if somebody comes back looking for it, they're not going to give it to them. They're going to say, no, sorry, whatever. And they're going to keep it, $110. So I'm looking around and I don't know what to do. So I call my friend Veronica and I tell her what happened. And I'm standing in the store and I said, hey, I'm in Fresh Market and I don't know what's going on, but blah, 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 blah. And she starts laughing hysterically. And she said, well, I think what you have to do is go to the manager, tell them what happened, and give them your phone number and have the person who lost the money come back and call you, and you can meet up with them and give them the cash. So this is a good idea. And we hang up and I go over to the manager and I explain in my broken Spanish, because she did not speak English, so I had to translate my way through it. And I explain what happened, and she looks at me and she looks over at the machine, looks back at me and says, ahorita, which is now, this right in this moment. And I said, yes, sí. And she said, okay. And then she took my phone number, took my name, and she let me know that if anybody shows up, that she'll have them call me. Now, let's just, and as an aside for a moment, let's just think about this. The person left their money in the machine, walked out, ran out probably because they were in a hurry, and no one who walked into that store and not one employee saw the cash hanging out of the machine and took it. So they were there either a second before me or something, and no one was at the machine when I got there. So I was like, oh my goodness, this is so weird. So it's like, and Veronica had said to me, well, if no one calls you, then it's a gift. And here it is between Mercury and Jupiter retrograde, right? So Jupiter is stopped in the sky, Mercury is stopped in the sky, and I'm standing there with this $110 equivalent in my hand. So I'm like, okay. So that was it. I went home. I paid the gardener with my money that I had, and I tucked the rest of the money in another part of my wallet, so it stayed separate from my cash. And since then, no one has contacted me. No one. And it's been just about a week. Tomorrow morning it'll be a week. And it's like, really? Wow. So whoever did that probably looked in their wallet and said, where's the cash I just got? Did I drop it somewhere? They were just oblivious to what happened. They probably didn't think that they left it in the machine. Or maybe they did and they said, oh, it was gone. That's gone. And I didn't get a phone call. I've gotten nothing. So the universe seems to have given me a gift. Thank you, universe. Very much grateful for that. And I send my apologies to the person who lost their money, but this is pretty funny and it's bizarre. It's really bizarre. So there you go. $110, a gift from the universe. Thank you, universe. On a Mercury Jupiter retrograde. And then the usual Mercury retrograde stuff started to happen. My hairdresser was going to see me at 12 on Tuesday, and I get a text confirming my 11 a.m. appointment. And I said, no, it's not 11 a.m., it's 12. Oh, we're so sorry. That's a shame. No, I'm coming. I'll just come an hour earlier. What happened? You told me 12 o'clock. Here's your message. You told me 12 o'clock. Oh, there's something wrong with our scheduling system. We're implementing a new system. Of course they are. Then there was this, my herbal medicine I had to get from a messenger that I sent. He couldn't find the place because they moved it, and then he doesn't know where they are, and he's trying to call them, and I'm trying to call them, and nobody's answering. And that was another whole Mercury retrograde thing on Tuesday that was very stressful. And then, of course, yesterday I was trying to get an Uber to go to the farmer's market, and it's like giving me the wrong address. It's sending a car from an address that's not mine, and I don't know where it's going. So I had to cancel that one. I'm like trying to figure it out, trying to change the address to mine. No, forget it, just cancel the car. And all sorts of things such as that for Mercury retrograde. So yes, it's your typical Mercury antics that's happening in the sky right now. So today we have a very lovely Sun-Jupiter trine, and that is in water signs, Scorpio and Cancer. And actually, really what's going on is a Sun-Jupiter-Saturn grand trine, because Saturn is at 25 Pisces, Jupiter's at 25 Cancer, and the Sun is almost 25 Scorpio, which it will be between now and tomorrow wee hours of the morning in my region of the world, because it's going to trine Jupiter at midnight in the Eastern time zone, and then trine Saturn at 4 a.m. in the Eastern time zone. So here we are. This is a lovely grand water trine. Feel your feelings, get connected, really beautiful energy. So this is a good time to visit with friends, to extend gratitude, to be generous, to do something that makes you happy, create something, some new art, some new projects, some new wonderful things in your life. So it's very good. It's very lovely energy. And so this is an interesting week because we have that lovely grand trine, and then there's all sorts of other things going on. So Mercury is going to move back into Scorpio on Tuesday, the 18th, right? It's in Sagittarius now. It's going to go back into Scorpio at 10:20 p.m. Tuesday night, the 18th. And that's Eastern time, of course. And what it's going to do is it's going to oppose Uranus in Taurus, okay, at 6:45 a.m. on Wednesday. Now, Wednesday's an interesting day, and it's probably the big interesting day of the week, because Uranus and Mercury met once before in opposition in Sagittarius and Gemini. So Mercury's in Sag, it was in Sag. Uranus was in Gemini, and remember about a week and a half ago it went back into Taurus, and here we are. Now they are meeting again, and I told you this was going to happen. This is a 3-time passage. So Mercury and Uranus are going to do number 2 passage on Wednesday the 19th, and that's going to be very early in my region of the world, but we're going to feel it all day, the night before, the next day, whatever, because they are very very close to one another, and they are intertwined right now. This is a high-strung energy, okay? Mercury and Uranus are very high-strung. This is nervous system on full caffeine, this is like I'm thinking, I'm distracted. I'm really like spinning my wheels in my head, and I'm trying to think of new things, and I'm coming up with brilliant ideas, and it's fast energy. It's a lot of energy because there's a new moon that day, and Mercury and Uranus are involved in the new moon. So this isn't just any old new moon. This is a new moon at 28 degrees Scorpio, which conjuncts Mercury. The new moon occurs, in the wee hours Thursday morning, really, in Eastern time. But it's all happening at the same time. I don't care. You can say it's the new moon, but wait, it's not happening to the middle of the night. I would take some extra herbal tea that night to get yourself some sleep, because it's going to really help to remain calm during those 2 days, because it's wee hours Thursday, it's Wednesday night, it's Wednesday day when these energies are going to be flying around, and I mean flying around, because Mercury is in Scorpio. It's going to conjunct the new moon. And so when that happens, it's all opposite Uranus. So Mercury is going to pass Uranus, at breakfast time or whatever time you're getting up and getting into the shower. And then it's going to meet up with the sun and the moon later that day, late at night, or depending on where you are, early the next morning, or maybe like in the middle of the night for you if you're in Europe or something like that. And so this is hot energy. Mercury is an energetic little guy, okay? Even when he's in Scorpio, he's an energetic little guy. And it's opposite Uranus, which is an energetic aspect, okay? Uranus is really electric, and they are meeting up, and they have something to say to each other, and they've got lots of ideas, and they're just brimming with information. Now, that's just one portion of the day, okay? The next thing is that this new moon is involved with Mercury, and therefore opposite Uranus. And the moon is going to get there first, 4:24 a.m. on Thursday. So this is all going on in the middle of the night, which is why I said, like, take extra chamomile tea. And then on Friday, the sun is going to be opposite Uranus. So this is like a 3-day affair of Mercury and the sun and the moon and Uranus and everything that we have stewing in the Scorpio Taurus pot, okay? So this is a lot of high-strung energy that we want to keep grounded. Okay, so this is where you need to do some grounding exercises. You need to balance yourself. You need to go stand on the earth with your bare feet. You need to do a good, strong meditation to keep yourself just focused and not hitting the walls and bouncing off the walls, okay? This is high energy. You may use this for really coming up with some brilliant new ideas. You may use this for connection with people. You may use this for really developing something new. So it's great. It's innovative energy. Remember, it's Uranus. Remember, Scorpio and Taurus are also money signs. They are about security. They are about investment. They are about what I have in the bank versus what I am making versus what I've invested, etc., etc. It's all about money and security and those kinds of things. So this is all working itself through. There's maybe a message in here about value and skills and abilities and things that you use to make money. And so this is something that we want to be paying attention to, because first of all, we want to look between the lines. We want to read between the lines on information and anything that's being presented to us, and don't let things slip by you without really reading them over. Okay, make sure that you read things twice if you have to. It's Mercury retrograde anyway. But before you buy something new, spend a lot of money, get that new car, you want to make sure that you are clear on what the information is behind everything, contracts and stuff. Okay, it's not always great to sign contracts during this time. Sometimes you can't avoid it. Now, the other thing is you want to be careful about your finances and your money, and be very careful at the cash machine. Okay, don't leave the cash in the machine. Don't leave your card in the machine, and be very wise about the way you handle your money in these next few days, okay? Because sometimes things cost more than you think they do, and there's financial surprises with Uranus and Taurus and stuff. But, this is a very interesting, complicated bunch of aspects, because not only do we have like the sun and the moon involved, okay? So now we've got sun and moon, new moon in Scorpio, at the end of Scorpio, and we're having some real exciting energy here. They are going to be opposite Uranus. So this is a new moon, which is always like there's the dark of the moon first, and then there's the light after the moon is new. And so the light starts to come back to the moon after they're new. And that new moon occurs in the middle of the night before Thursday morning. And therefore, by Thursday day, when all of this is happening, when the moon is opposing Uranus, and then eventually the next day the sun is opposing Uranus, then the light starts to come back to the moon, and we have a very enlightening experience. So this could be some really great big idea. Make space for it. Open the door to have something really good come through financially, creatively, energetically. Maybe something cool is going to happen. Okay, so this is an exciting, Uranus is an exciting aspect. It's a surprise. It also can be haphazard. So keep your focus, keep grounded. Do some grounding exercises, do some meditations. These are going to help you stay focused, calm your system, make your nervous system just sort of hum along during the week as opposed to be erratic. Okay, don't over caffeinate yourself. And what we want to do is we want to pay attention also to what bigger stories are happening in our lives, because we have a bigger transit happening. We have the transit of Uranus and Neptune sextiling each other, which means they're speaking sweetly to each other at 9:39 a.m. Thursday morning. So not only do we have all this wild bouncing around going on with the new moon and Mercury and Uranus, but Uranus is talking very nicely to Neptune, which means Neptune is talking to the sun and the moon, which is exactly what's happening. So the sun and the moon have a very lovely relationship with Neptune, a trine, and that's a smooth flowing aspect. And so when we start to experience this, something bigger may be behind this, because Uranus and Neptune don't do this to each other very often historically. Okay, so it takes a lot of cycles to pass for those two planets, which move very slowly, to connect with each other in this very lovely way. They did this on August 28th of this year. They made this same aspect, and now Uranus, since it's going backwards and Neptune's going backwards, they make it again on Thursday the 20th. So this is a big, bright, spectacular indication of, one, a higher consciousness, two, a big change in your life. Again, something innovative, something larger that is changing your life in a good way. This is a support to advance and progress in your life. This isn't something, oh no, this is going to be hell. This is wow, something is opening up for me to step forward. The more you tap into things like spirituality and consciousness, the more you're going to appreciate this and feel it. The more it can operate with consciousness in your life. You're going to be aware of it and be able to use this energy. Neptune is about consciousness. It's about meditation. It's about spirituality. It's about, creativity and intuition and psychic ability and, connecting with spirit, connecting with something greater than yourself. And Uranus is also an awakening planet to higher levels of consciousness, different states of consciousness. So I highly recommend, you can go to a meditation group that day. You can, and I mean, they're really close to each other now. So it's not like you're missing your moment if you don't go Thursday. I mean, Friday, next week, whatever. But you want to pay attention to what subtle things are changing in your life, because this aspect is quiet. It's a sextile. It's not like a slap across the face conjunction where the two of these planets are talking to one another and they hit your chart and it's like, earthquakes. This is something smooth and soft and opening. So where can you open your life more? Where can you open doors to something more? Where can you open the doors to dimensions, right? Your pineal gland, your consciousness meditations. Where are you going with that? Where can you appreciate that? But this is a sparkly week. And I think it's exciting and I think it's beautiful. And I have to tell you, try to do something good this week. Do something exciting. Launch something new if that's what you do in your business. Put the word out to do something new. make something exciting happen, or just go do something in the realm of consciousness, take a class, go to a meditation, do something exciting, sit down in your house and do a meditation. And if you don't know what to do, then have a session with me. Have a session with an astrologer like Deb. And you can do that by, of course, going to my website, thegoldenastrologer.com, and clicking book online and, picking a session. I'm going to be teaching Reiki 2 on Saturday, the 22nd. So this is perfect timing for me to delve into doing, the levels of Reiki with students. And I did level 1 last week. And I think that this is going to be the perfect energy for doing Reiki. So if you want to study Reiki with me, you can. And you can also have a Reiki session with me. But, creativity, if you're in the creative world or anything, great. Do something really powerful with your creativity this week. My friend Alejandro here wrote a book on creativity, and he did, it's in Spanish, otherwise I'd say, hey, go get it, but right now it's just here, and it's in Spanish. It's really beautiful. It's really beautifully put together, and he wrote some really good stuff, and he had a book launch party back in August, back around the last time we had this Uranus Neptune, and now we're having it again on another launch party for his book on Thursday. So I think that's pretty exciting, and it bodes very well for his work. So yeah. Okay. So on Friday, the 21st of November, this coming Friday, you'll see that sun opposite Uranus, but then it will also trine Neptune. So this is beautiful. This is a little romantic. It's a little imagination oriented. It's deeply creative, deeply spiritual. Have a breakthrough, guys. Have a breakthrough, because this is the perfect week to do something like that. So push those psychic meditations and get some new information about your life. Ask the universe a question. Ask spirit to show you something, about your life. Ask a question, a burning question for yourself. And when the sun makes those two aspects, 7:25 a.m., it's going to oppose Uranus. So you'll wake up with a big jolt in the sky if you live in this region of the world. Otherwise, if you're in Europe, maybe you'll be having an espresso martini in the afternoon. And then the sun will trine Neptune at 8:05 a.m., not long after that. And then later that evening, 8:36 p.m., it goes into Sagittarius. So this is the last week of Scorpio season, and the sun goes into Sag Friday night in my region of the world. And hey, let the party begin, because when the sun goes into Sagittarius, it's ruled by Jupiter, the planet of abundance and expansion, and it's all about expansion. So this week really does give us opportunities to expand. And I always say this at Christmas season, this is what happens. The sun's in Sag. Everybody wants to spend money. It's woohoo! Let's go to a Christmas party. Let's drink that rompope and celebrate the holidays. And then Saturn comes along as the sun enters Capricorn right before the holiday, and oh my God, does the credit card bill come. And then you're like, oh my God, what did I do? And oh yeah, I gotta see my mother-in-law on Christmas. And my teacher used to say Saturn's the mother-in-law of the zodiac. So when you have, the Capricorn starting right before Christmas, it's an ironic thing, because the actual holiday happens during Capricorn season, which is ruled by Saturn. The shopping, the parties, the gift buying and gift giving and all that stuff happens before, when the sun is in Sag. So we tend to overdo it, like good Sagittarian energy encourages us to do. and we have to pay later. So do be wise about this. Jupiter, the planet that rules Sagittarius, is in retrograde. Remember that it went last week. And just pay attention to what you're spending on. Sun enters Sag. This is the last week of Scorpio season, and then Mercury is going to do everything. Mercury is going to do everything that the Sun has done in these last days. So Mercury is going to move backwards as the Sun moves forward through the end of Scorpio. Mercury, which will be going backwards into Scorpio on Tuesday, is going to follow the backwards trail of the Sun, meaning it's going to make the opposition to Uranus before the Sun gets there, okay? And then it's going to do all of this trine Neptune on Wednesday. And then by the time we get to Saturday, it's going to make that same grand water trine with Saturn and Jupiter that the Sun is making right now. So we're getting a chance to relive that and maybe be able to articulate something about it later in the week, by the time we get to next weekend. So watch this. This is an interesting dynamic. What you're feeling right now is going to be then translated into language or thoughts by the time Mercury arrives where the Sun is right now. So this is a very interesting week, and a lot of Sun, Mercury, Moon aspects to the outer planets and Jupiter. And so it's a dynamic that's talking to us and then talking to us again repeatedly so that we can understand and really think about and embody what this energy is bringing to us. This is a lovely, lovely time right now with this grand trine in water. It feels really good. I feel really good energy today. And then we're going to have Mercury do the same thing next weekend. But Mercury will talk to Uranus, and then the Sun will talk to Uranus. So in between these lovely bookends that we've got between now and next Saturday, we've got this interesting, intriguing, consciousness raising, electric thoughts and ideas week in the middle of this. So I think it's pretty exciting. This is a sparkly week, and I welcome you to just go enjoy it and sparkle with gratitude because of Sun, Jupiter, and then Mercury, Jupiter, and this grand trine with Jupiter, and sparkle with ideas and just have a goodwill towards everyone. And it is getting to be the time of year when we have goodwill towards everyone. So absolutely. In the meantime, sign up for a session with me. I can show you where all of this is falling in your chart, and we can discuss how to best use it. So you go to my website, thegoldenastrologer.com, click on book online, and set up a session. It could be a very lovely Reiki session. It could be a very lovely astrology session where we go over each of these and find out where it's going for you. And this is really exciting and productive and fun. And remember that I'm also available for expansion mentoring. And you can sign up for that for the next several months, and we can walk through this transition together, and I could guide you through it. And it could be 3 months, 6 months, or 12 months. So lots of transition coming. I will be seeing you on the internet on Instagram, The Golden Astrologer, and I will be on this podcast next Sunday, the 23rd. Thank you so much for listening. Enjoy this incredible week. Sparkly, innovative, electric, and have a beautiful time ahead. Thank you for listening. Gratitude to one and all, and I'll see you on the internet.